right. All right, going live now with this little teaser clip of music. Waiting for everyone to get in here. All right, got David. Yeah, we got Dale. We got Keith. Timon. Yes. Yes. More people popping in. Yeah, Julian. Hi. It's so crazy that these sessions where we don't have a real theme are pretty big. There's a lot of people joining.
Hey, Julian,
Maybe we
I
could
have
just
some
have a.
info. I have some info for you, Julian, too.
What's that?
I have some info for Julian because he was asking about something specific.
Okay. Well, let's let everyone join.
Uh-huh. Oh, no, I'm not gonna. I'm just waiting. I'm just letting him know.
Cool. Hello, Shasha. I'm listening, Julian says. Hiya. Yes, there we go. There we got Powell. Yeah, this is a lot of people. It's pretty wild. All right, let's turn off this little treat. Yes. All right.
We keep teasing you guys every time we come on now with a little tidbit from the new album.
Yes. So, about that, we are trying some new stuff here. Obviously, as you can see, we're kind of incorporating some of our kind of the work and things that we're having to do that doesn't involve pre-planning a song breakdown or rehearsing a live performance for you guys here on Patreon. We're deeply involved in the new album. We are going to be connecting with Foo down here in Southern California in just a couple of days again. We have a bunch of really cool new stuff going on. We just shot a rad video with one of our artists, our framework artists, for All the Emptiness. And I was going to say, if he was on here, I would chat with him about it. But maybe he'll join in a little bit. But we have so much going on that we just, to stop that and then go into a day or two of setup for like a song breakdown or rehearse and learn a new song is not always possible. And we've kind of discovered that these sessions where we just kind of get together and talk about the things we're doing have turned out to be some of the best sessions. So we're going to kind of keep rolling with that because it's allowing us to do a Sunday session where normally we would have had to maybe say, "Hey guys, we won't be able to do it. It's NAMM weekend. It's been a whole bunch of nuttiness that we have to do when NAMM is happening, and there's all sorts of people in town and all this kind of crap. And this is super cool. So hopefully we can." Chat a little bit about NAMM, what that is, chat a little bit about framework and what we're working on there. And I actually haven't spoken to Amir at all about his big NAMM experience, and I haven't talked to Foo in a week. So Foo, greetings from Canada. How are you?
Greetings. I think before you say NAMM the 18th time, we should define it. Let
Yeah.
them know
Okay. Yeah. So those of you who don't know what NAMM is, it's the North American Music Merchandisers massive convention. So it's like if you took Guitar Center and poured water on it, like in Gremlins, and it multiplied by 1,000. It's that, and it's even stuff that you would never see at Guitar Center or anywhere. It's every music manufacturer and vendor that you could imagine. And typically we would have to kind of go to that and do autograph signings and stuff like that. You have to show up at different booths where you're endorsed and support them because they support us when we're whatever. So I didn't go this year because I have a little 9-month-old baby, as everyone knows, and I was just a little. I don't seem to get sick. I don't know what is up with me, but I just don't really get sick. It's been years and years and years, but I am worried about bringing something home to her Everyone else tends to get sick at NAM. It is the number one thing you got to plan on when you go to NAM is you come back sick because everyone is there from all over the world with
Oh
all of
man.
their COVID and all of their flu and all of their colds and everyone's hugging and everyone's so. I know Amir went in an N95 mask. Smart. I know food flying.
By the way, I was probably one of 14 million that actually had a mask on. No one
Oh,
had a mask. No one.
wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
people are over
pretty
it.
weird. I expected there to be at least some masks. I seriously maybe saw three the
Yeah.
whole day I was.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. And it's not even really COVID that I'm super worried about. I mean, everyone's gonna get that now. It's become kind of common. But yeah, getting the flu, which is the flu's big right now, and that kind of stuff is definitely worrisome. Right, Chris? It's you don't want to give it to that little. I got my mouse over his little face. Hi. So cute. But yeah, that's my worry. So I didn't go this year, and I've got to get caught up on it. I've got to get the update. I know a lot of stuff happened, and Amir got a lot of intel and played with a lot of gear, and picked up a new endorsement from Novation. Is that true?
Yeah, it seems like it.
Dude. So you're getting that keyboard?
That's what it sounds like.
Holy shit! God, that's insane. What is
Yeah,
that
that,
keyboard?
that was actually not NAM though. That was a thing called Buchla and Friends
I,
yesterday.
I
But we're
explain.
going to talk about that
I
too.
was going to bring that up. Explain what that is.
So, well, a lot of the sort of more boutique electronic companies used to be downstairs at NAM. Like there used to be this downstairs area that was really big too. And a lot of these more boutique companies who can't afford like big booths and the big expense of going to NAM, it's very expensive to do NAM, um, would be downstairs a lot of the time, and they'd just have a very tiny booth. And then they started doing this thing where they kind of pooled together. They like these little companies would pool together and buy like a bigger NAM booth upstairs, but then all the companies would be in that one area basically. So all these small companies would then have all their little, literally some of the tables are, this big. That's it. They'd have their one synth or whatever it was. And so they would get a bigger booth and then have a lot of these little boutique companies. Kind of, there's a company here called Perfect Circuit that has a store up in Burbank,
Mhm.
and it's almost like if Perfect Circuit did a did a booth at NAM. So this way you can try all these new little things, but these companies don't have to incur this massive expense. Well, over the years, a lot of these companies, including Moog, which is a pretty big company, have been moving away from NAM. So this year they started a new thing, and they didn't want to be called the anti-NAM, but that's what I was calling it. They literally got a warehouse in downtown LA, and just a lot of these little companies, and some of them aren't that little. Like Electron actually isn't that little of a company, but they were not at NAM. They were there, but a lot of other little boutique companies. Foo, you would have loved this. It was pretty small. I mean, there was literally only 3 aisles of tables, um, and in a small warehouse space. And it's just all like modular synths. They had some visual artists there too, some visual boxes that also work with modular, and there were couple of synth companies, Novation being one of them. Novation was probably the only company there that actually had like a full size synthesizer. So I'm not super into modular in general. I just think it's just too much of a black hole most of the time. Um, I like I like my synths to be a little more closed in their design. Although like things like the ARP 2600, which we have, they basically work without patching anything. Like the Moog Matriarch is the same thing. You can get a sound. If you need to get a sound quickly, you don't have to have it all wired in, but then you can modify it by patching. Um, you know, that's just where I'm at. Foo's definitely got a little modular setup going on now. He's definitely into that. Um, So, of course, when I walked in, I was immediately drawn to that Novation keyboard because it's a keyboard, it's got lots of knobs, presets to start sounds, and at least kind of hear something, hear what it's capable really quickly. So I started playing on it, and I just immediately was like, wow, this is really cool. Like, there's just a lot of really cool sounds. It was really easy to get around on it. And I just thought, wow, this is an interesting polysynth that I've, never messed with before. Derek had written me, Ghost Feeder Derek, and said that he's been actually looking at that one for a while. He was super intrigued by it. It was like the only like new polysynth that looked, really interesting to him. So he's super excited. He wants to see what we, get done with it. But anyway, I got talking to the guy, and I had actually forgotten that Craig Williams works for Novation. So that was just an added bonus. He actually does tech support for Novation and some other companies too. So if we have any issues, I can just call and harass Craig, which is pretty funny actually. Um, I don't know if everybody here, they probably don't know Craig, but Craig was a guy that I met when we were doing our second record, and he had approached me about doing a remix for Julien-K, which he did for the second record. I forget which song it was that he did, but he did a really cool remix, and then we became friends, and then we ended up writing "She's the Pretender" together. That was a song that I had initially started with Craig at his studio, and we've remained friends ever since. So we met up with him yesterday, but it turns out the guy at Novation is a fan and knew Julien-K, and he actually he's kind of looking for bands like us to be a part of the program for that particular keyboard. So it just kind of worked out, and I guess I'll be talking to him this week, and we'll figure out how that's going to work. But I think it's it's definitely an interesting synth. It has a lot of potential, I think, for what we like. It really had some really cool soundscapes. Let me see if I can pull up.
Is it an FM synth?
It can do that as well. It has like all
I'm
way
curious as to what it sounds like. I actually don't. I haven't heard it before.
I'm gonna hear it pretty soon. Let me find a picture of it here.
Where's it gonna live?
Sure, it'll be at our studio. Let's see. Why is this not showing up now? So weird.
Answer a couple questions here and confirm some stuff. Sarah nailed it. It's what's the con plague? Yes, it's called the con plague. So NAMM is definitely like Comic-Con for music nerds. Absolutely nailed it. And Sean asked, does NAMM take place in only one location, or does it happen in different cities? It happens in some different cities. I think there's one in Europe, and then I think there's
Yeah.
one
Well,
here.
no, actually, the one in
Nashville.
Europe is
Oh, there's
called,
one in Nash. Okay.
yeah, Nashville. I was going to say. I think the one in Europe it's a totally different thing.
Got it. The one here though in Anaheim is kind of like the flagship.
Can you see the
Yeah.
keyboard now?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So it's called the Summit, and basically it's based on they have another, it's like a rack unit called a Peak,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's 8 voices, so they doubled it on this. This is 16 voices,
Wow.
and yeah, it's just, it's the kind of stuff that we like. Um, it's just got some really cool sounds, and I think we'll have some fun with it for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, perfect timing too for this new album.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
But yeah, so that show, was really cool. It was something different. I basically skipped out of doing NAMM because normally I do NAMM on Thursday and Saturday. Typically runs Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like the third week or was it the last week this time? The third week of January. And this is kind of, I guess, after the pandemic. This is probably the first NAMM that was kind of a little more normal. I went on Thursday and it was very crowded, which was surprising because normally Thursday is the quiet day.
Yeah, Thursday's when you want to go actually look at stuff and get some
Yeah,
fucking work done. And
but it was really
Saturday's the
crowded.
networking day.
Yeah, it was really crowded that day, more than usual. But it was smaller. NAMM in general was a lot smaller. There's a lot of companies that were not there,
Mm,
and some that were sharing booths with other companies. So it, kind of shows you where the economy's at these days.
mhm.
Um, and funny enough, I did not. Someone was asking about guitars. I did not touch one guitar
That's so weird.
the
God, how things
entire
have changed.
day.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that
did
is
not touch
so
one
wild.
guitar.
Yeah, that's so wild. I
Yeah.
I wanted to go because I have an idea, everyone here, just so you know where my brain's going as we're designing like new looks and new directions to go with our touring, our live look and our video looks and all that kind of stuff. I kind of want to do a different guitar just as an alternate. I want to do something that's really kind of out there, but yet also kind of has a classic, vibe as well, something I can get, more easily, but that really has some edge to it, and that something that sort of clashes with the idea of the music that we do. That's something that's kind of heavy metal, but still techy. So I'm looking at some sort of a V shape or something that is going to just look cool with like my outfit. Not necessarily ergonomically cool, but I don't care because I just have it in my head that I want to do like some sort of seven string pointier kind of instrument. And this would have been for me. That would have been the time that I would go figure that out. Possibly get that endorsement or whichever. But it's pretty cool when you're in a band with guys like Fu or Amir. We're always out kind of networking and looking, and we've got so many friends out there that I actually thought that it might be better if I wait till NAMM is over because sometimes it's so busy at these things that you can't get a deal done. So it kind of works, for you and against you. I think that with Amir going to this like specialized, more synth and kind of obscure stuff event on Saturday, I think that was better because sometimes if you go to ESP or Ibanez or any of these big vendors or Friedman, I mean Amir, right? It's you can't even talk to one of the reps
Well,
because it's just
yeah.
insanity.
Yeah, but it wasn't like that at all.
Yeah.
I went right up to Dave. He was in a much smaller booth this time,
Mm,
Dave Friedman.
mm,
Um, yeah, a lot of these companies, like, I basically went around and, the idea for me, especially like first day, is to really go around and just get a little bit of FaceTime with all these people that have been so nice to us. Some of them are new, like in the past year, I've hooked up with a few companies, or I can even say re-hooked up, because sometimes, these representatives, they come and go over the years. And so, like for example, like Dunlop, I had a connection with for since I was in Rough Cut.
mhm.
My friend that worked there, always took care of us for strings and picks. Yep, guitar picks.
Nice.
Which, yeah, so I started, yours are on the way too, Ryan. I talked to
There we
Julia.
go. Now I got it to focus. It's the depth of field kind of new symbol on it. Super
So,
cool new picks.
yep,
Always coming up with new like little collector's item types of things that we can give to people
we're
and
going to be making
make things out
earrings.
of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to be making earrings out of them.
Earrings sold out. Yeah, they were amazing.
So, yeah, reconnecting with Dunlop basically so that I could, make our picks again. And it was a new person there, a new lady. And so I got, 5 minutes of FaceTime with her so that we know each other now. Like, it's funny, my friend Charuz was asking me, that day when I ran into him, he's just like, man, I don't know if does this matter anymore? He was asking me. And I said, well, I actually think it does, Charuz. I do think FaceTime in person, even if it's just a few minutes, and I think that goes for any business, makes a big difference. People, you'll make an impression, and it's like, hopefully it's a good one.
That's
But
so shrews. That is so shrews. That's
I
so fun.
know, and he's just like, and I'm like, no, 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 no. I go, I think it's still important. I think it's important for you to come here.
He's always doubting, like just any.
Everything.
It's always like, is this? I don't know, mate. Is this even fucking? I mean, why are we even here, mate? It's like I don't even. Yeah, I think it's always good to meet with people in person if you can. I think that that's one thing that COVID just really fucked up. You know, I think people forgot how important it is to get together with people, and something that we definitely have pushed with our touring and all the kind of stuff that we're doing. You know, really redoubling down on rebuilding our touring business and everything. You know, we think it's very important to go out there and actually see the people that love our music and bring music to them in a live way. It helps the
Well,
whole business, you know?
so, meeting some of these people face to face that I haven't worked with before was great. Got to hang out with the lady from Eastwood Guitars, and we'd never met in person, and we chatted for about 20 minutes, and it was really great. And definitely going to be doing more stuff with them in the future. And I'm trying to think who else went by and talked to Ernie Ball. That's where we're getting our strings from now. That was a new connection. Um,
Hey, what about the guy from Avid? You had a
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
what
I
you
was going to
doing?
ask about that after he was talking about all the.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah. I mean, most of it was just again reconnecting with some people. A few were new, but I had a specific meeting with Avid through our connection there. And I'm not sure how much of it I'm allowed to talk about because some of this is kind of, it's behind the scenes type of stuff. But basically, they were meeting with some of their, what they call their inner circle,
Mhm,
and they wanted feedback on Pro Tools.
mhm,
And so I was one of those privileged people to go in there, and I kind of pulled together some notes from Ryan, some notes from Fu, my buddy Matt Thorne. I even talked to like Lou Dog. There were a few people I just kind of asked some general questions, and everybody kind of had a few different little things that they were talking about. And so I had a little meeting with them, and it actually went really well. I actually got along really well with the girl that is there now that's doing a lot of modifications.
mhm.
I don't think it's a secret to know that in Pro Tools, as in any DAW, any digital recording workstation, um, they're these programs are built off of what do you call it? Like my brain just went blank. There's sort of a foundation to the program that once that architecture, that's the word I was looking for, is started, it's very difficult to go too far one way or the other, because what happens if you go too far in any direction, the program stops working. Basically, it just it's fucked.
Get it
So
right the first time, guys. Type of
yeah,
situation.
yes.
Yeah.
So it's very important
Yeah.
how it starts, of course, and there's a lot to that. But as time goes on, they figure out little ways that they can tweak things or add things or take away, and it's very tricky. And so there are certain limitations within every program that you can't get around, but there are things that can be done to sort of tweak it. But those have their own shortcomings and things as well. So everything that I told her, just so you guys know, um, all of it, totally hit the mark. Um, there were definitely things she was like, yes, we're actually talking about this right now. There's some things coming in the next version of Pro Tools that might address some of this. Things like that. Again, I can't get into the details because I'm not supposed to talk about it. But it was all very interesting, and to be connected at that level now with the person who's actually doing this work is pretty rad. And she's really cool. She's Greek. It's crazy.
Awesome. Wow. That's cool.
And her job is to rewrite the MIDI, is that, or to improve the MIDI?
Well, that's one of them, yes.
Okay. I'm like I'm asking, or I guess you can't, maybe you can't talk, but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
Awesome. No, I think it's great because to be working this deeply in one of these programs in this kind of software, and to finally, after years and years and years of doing this, I mean, we recorded with Pro Tools on the first Orgy album, I believe, when it was like 8 tracks were available or something like that. I remember I don't think we
And
used a ton. Or what
there was
was it?
no
Something
MIDI in the
else?
beginning.
Yeah, there
So
was no
so what,
MIDI.
when I first started using like a computer for MIDI, because even before that there were like hardware MIDI sequencers.
Mhm,
Um, but when it was like the Mac Plus, remember, like the all-in-one 9-inch screen. The screen was this big,
mhm, mhm,
and it was running Performer, which still
mhm,
exists. Um, but yeah, so Performer, um, yeah, so it would just kind of spit out MIDI notes, but no audio. And
mhm,
then when Pro Tools came along, it recorded audio, but no MIDI. And then eventually it just
mhm,
seemed obvious that the same program should be,
mhm,
integrate both of those functions.
mhm.
So, yeah, so going back to, I guess, early 90s or whatever, when Pro Tools came out.
Yeah.
But
And
Actually,
now,
again, think about that. The initial architecture didn't include MIDI.
yeah, it's wild. I mean, but to have a
So
seat at the table now and be able to kind of tell them, hey, look, we wish that these kind of things, not speaking about MIDI in particular, there's all sorts of just little things that
there were
you
other things that we
yeah,
discussed.
all sorts of stuff you wish a workstation did. And by the way, they all have them because we've recorded in Ableton, we've recorded in Logic recently with Keith. We've recorded in and then into Pro Tools. So we use all we're capable of using all sorts of stuff, and you always wanna, you know, you always wish it would do X, Y, or Z, but the fact that that they're asking us is like that's awesome. It shows what a cool company it is that they would actually kind of ask the artists that are in here producing and recording on it, every single day.
Well, it's
What?
interesting because they have a really broad span of
Mhm,
styles of music. And
mhm,
it's cool because they've, given us a little niche, basically, of, where we kind of live, and they respect that and they want our input because they also know our lineage with Pro Tools as well. Because obviously, well, especially Fu and I have been using it since the very beginning. Um, so yeah, it's pretty cool. They have a lot of different people though. It's crazy the people that were there that day. I was just
oh,
mind
that's
blown,
wild.
like who,
Did you get to meet Matt?
everybody was talking about him. I could not find him where he was. Everybody was like, "Oh, you should, you guys really need to hook up."
Ah, we
And
do. We
and
need
I'm
to
like, "Yeah,
work
I
with
know I've been
Matt.
hearing this, but
Yeah,
I don't know where he was." And I
yeah,
was there on and off a few times and just never ran into him, unfortunately.
yeah,
But
yeah. What's his last name again?
Lang, I think, right?
Yeah, Matt Lang. So
Sounds
Matt
like
Lang's a
Lang.
high up guy at Avid at Pro Tools, and he's also a really really rad electronic artist and artist in general. He does a lot of guitar in his stuff, but it's all done in a way that works better with like electronic music. But he's a producer as well, and I mean, his life path is like so in line with me, Fu, and Amir. And he's in LA, and I just started kind of I like his music. So if I like someone's music, I told everyone on here I'll just follow him and just kind of see what they're up to and everything. And I realized that he's a associated with the Pro Tools or with Avid, and so are we. And so I would just kind of comment on some stuff, and he was super nice, and we started talking offline. And I thought I was going to meet in person this time, but wasn't going. So I was hoping that Amir could find him. But
I
yeah,
I
I think
also had oh, go ahead.
I think everyone wants us to get together and do something. I mean,
Yeah,
he's a
I'm
really dope artist, so I
I'm
would
sure
love
we will.
to. I'd love to collaborate with him.
So
He's fucking awesome.
so I also ran into another guy that I'll tell you guys about
Yeah.
later. That's sort of interesting too, that wants to work with us. I'll send you guys some links and
Hmm. Oh, cool. Okay, a new artist.
yeah, and he's also a sound designer too. He's
Oh,
kind of a
awesome.
foo, so it
Oh, wow.
could be something interesting.
I love that. Oh, I
Yeah,
totally
I
love that.
actually met him yesterday at the synth show.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah,
That's
so
so awesome. Yeah, and that's another great thing that happens. You might have people in town from Europe and stuff that you would never. I mean, what kind of guitars and stuff have we been playing that we've met the people at NAM who have come up to us going like Ryan or Amir, what was that cool guy with the really two-full guitars or whatever with the really weird, cool guitar?
Teufel.
Toyful, is that what it's called?
Teufel. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was a NAMM thing,
German.
right?
Yeah, he's German.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We've met all these cool people, and yeah, that's awesome. So I can't wait to hear that. Who did you end up going to 2145 with?
It was Shrews, Craig,
Oh,
Mark Newman. Um, oh my God. Oh, some other another really famous DJ.
mm,
You wouldn't know him though. He's like an old school house guy.
that's cool. That's cool.
Another Mark.
That's awesome. So what always happens too is just because we have restaurants in town, when there's always like a dinner or two or three every NAM night at one of our places. We used to host them a lot. I had a restaurant in Anaheim, so we would have huge dinners there. We did like with Waves Distribution, we would do 20 people, and have a big thing. It was always really, really fun. But I didn't get to go to this one, so that's cool that you got to hang out with everybody. That's awesome.
Yeah, I invited Gil, and I had invited our guy from Avid.
Mm.
They're a little inundated, so I tried.
Mhm.
I tried to get them to come, and they really wanted to come, but they couldn't that night. So
Mm.
I was trying to get everybody together. I even invited Dave Friedman,
Mm.
but yeah, it's tricky. Oh yeah, it's called a Tesla, a Teufel Tesla.
Isn't that cool?
I still have my red one.
So cool.
Yeah, those are really, really unique guitars. I'm
Hmm.
sure some of you have seen me play that
Hmm.
because
No.
I had it on, I think I had it on Project Revolution.
Oh, yeah, that's possible. Yep,
Yeah,
yep, that's
pretty
possible.
sure. So I guess maybe I'll show you a couple other things that were kind of fun. Let's see here. So this thing, Korg introduced this.
Oh shit.
So
That looks
they
that looks like
decided to
what's in your room right now.
yeah, well, since the 2600 was such a big success, the full size reissue, they decided to reissue this, which is actually a vintage poly synth. Um, I don't know how many they're gonna make or whatever, but I can tell you they're $13,000.
Wow.
Ouch.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's
And
kind of
it's
crazy.
is it a remake of a Korg original Korg product?
Yeah, yep, yeah. It's the if let me zoom in here. It is what is it called?
It says polyphonic synthesizer.
Yes, U3302, I think.
Wow.
Oh no, those are the modules. I'm sorry, wait. These all have different numbers. It's just some number. I can't remember the exact name of it, but this is was an actual synth, probably I guess in the 70s.
Mm.
And they decided to do a full size one again, but it's $13,000.
That's affordable.
And you can't even touch it. No one was allowed. It was in a glass booth. I mean, they're just
Wow.
like really milking it.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
Detroit Dave's like 13K pocket change.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. Oh, Eric says you played that guitar in Hartford in 2007 on stage. He remembers.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I did tour with it for a little while until I
Yeah,
realized
yeah.
I didn't want anything to happen to it. So
Wes said, "Who the heck are they making this for?" Right? I mean,
I,
Ridley Scott.
apparently Apex Twin is buying one.
Oh, got it, got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Jason
So
Corey said Resner. Yeah,
yeah,
Resner probably. It
yeah,
just gets ordered. It gets sent to his house without even asking,
yeah.
and he doesn't. Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. 13K is a lot. It's a lot of money.
So Korg also came out with a new
Ooh.
microcord.
I saw. Is this that new Crystal one or whatever it's called?
No, 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 no. This is a whole new microKORG. It has the
Oh,
same kind of look and everything, but it's
oh,
like way more powerful and
oh. Should we get that?
maybe
It's got a vocoder in it.
fun. Yeah, it's got a vocoder.
Mm.
So, and see what it says. Still under development. Please
Yeah.
ask a special
Yeah.
for a
What kind of shit is that?
prototype.
I mean,
Yeah.
okay. So we have prototypes out now. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, there were some other things that I tried where they were like, "Oh yeah, that feature doesn't work yet," or whatever. Like it's that new.
That is so weird. I've never seen them do that at NAMM. Like, oh,
Yeah.
here's this partially working thing.
Yep.
That's weird. But yeah, Chris Jenkins said I need that. I think you're talking about the microKORG. Yeah, we liked the microKORGs. I liked it. Um, we
So
definitely used it a lot on the first
this
album.
is for Julian. This
Mm.
was something that we were talking about. He actually sent me a link
Hmm.
for this when it went on pre-order, and I've already pre-ordered it, but I'm actually talking to the people there now. Um, I'm actually, to give a little bit away here, I'm actually thinking I might bring this on tour with me now.
What?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
what?
to use on some of our electronic songs.
Oh.
I don't want to really give away what it all does. There's demos online you can watch and whatever, but yeah, I had some kind of ideas. Whether it'll work or not, I don't know, but
That would be cool.
yeah, it's pretty cool. It's really inexpensive.
Mm.
They're like $200.
Mm. Well, more weird, cool shit on stage is totally cool. So
I want to be the first person on stage with this, so I'm
mm,
working
that's cool. That's cool.
on it. Um, they
By the
also,
way, we have to get that set like put together and decided on probably this, I'd say this week because if we're going to get lighting done for any of these songs, it's going to take at least a month.
yep.
So that's got to happen.
Um, this was another thing they're coming out with that's also a pre-order. It's relatively inexpensive as well. It's a little drone synth.
Oh,
It's pretty cool.
huh.
It's pretty cool. Um, Julian had specifically asked me about these, and I was like, "Yeah, if they're there, I'm gonna go, check it out and talk to them." So it's pretty cool, Julian. I mean, I don't think you're gonna lose on either of these. They're inexpensive. They make some cool sounds. I'm definitely getting both of these. Um, yeah, that was
That's
I'm
cool.
pretty fun. Let me see if I have anything else that was interesting. Oh yeah.
Ooh, what is this?
So Jack White has his own like pedal company now.
What?
Yeah,
Oh,
Third Man Hardware.
is he there? Was Jack White?
No, he wasn't, but he always does some kind of quirky stuff.
Mhm.
His booth was probably one of the most visually interesting.
Mm, mm,
He has his own version of the plasma pedal
mm,
that he did with Game Changer, which I don't know, maybe a lot of you know we used a lot on Harmonic Disruptor.
mhm.
It's this crazy distortion pedal that has an actual like a plasma gas tube, and somehow it works with that to create the distortion. I don't really understand how it works, but um, it's got a pretty unique sounding distortion to it. It's pretty cool. So
It looks like a
these are all different pedals that Jack White is using or has designed, and there's sort of collaborations with different companies.
Mm.
Um, they all do kind of weird stuff. I don't know.
I see
this
they
looks
use
like
like
a teenage engineering thing down, like kind of bottom right-ish.
Yeah, I'm not sure why
What is
that
that thing?
was there.
that. It
I don't know
does
if
look
that
like it.
was a collab with Third Man Records. I mean, I picked it up and looked at it, and it just looked
Mm,
like a normal little pocket operator.
mm,
I'm not sure if they just stuck that there for fun or I don't know. I couldn't tell what was different about it, but
mm.
um, yeah, there's like a little guitar amp up at the top left. That yellow
Mm.
box is like a little portable guitar amp.
We've got a hand raised here. You want me to go ahead and unmute Demond?
Yep.
Cool. Yes.
No, I'm sorry. No, Fu
That's
just
okay.
answered my question.
Oh.
Fu just answered my question. I saw a little pocket operator down there, and I was like, wait, what's that?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I guess we'll
I,
we'll
I
find out
couldn't
later.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
I couldn't tell if it was anything special or if it was just there for decoration, honestly. It didn't
Right.
look like anything different than anything I had seen before. Like I would imagine if it was Third Man, it would have some kind of branding, and it didn't.
Hmm.
Right.
So I'm not sure why it was there.
Hmm.
Hmm.
It was
Okay.
also stuck to the thing, like it was Velcroed, like so
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
you weren't supposed to pick it up.
That's so weird.
I know. I don't know why it was. I think it was just there for decoration, honestly.
Hmm.
Oh, it's funny.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
They thought about it hard enough to Velcro it.
Yeah,
There's
yeah. Well,
pretty
because
weird.
I don't know. Yeah, it was just kind of weird.
I like how they have like Poppy's playmat
Yeah.
or like flooring. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
So I also got what did I get? I got a new pedal.
Ooh, what's that? Ooh, that looks sick. How does that sound?
It's a crazy fuzz. It's got
Ooh.
like 4 options for the fuzz sounds.
Oh, will you bring that over and so I can make sure it works?
Nope, it doesn't work.
That's pretty awesome. Wow. I love it.
Uh,
I love
this
new
guy,
fuzzes.
this guy wasn't at the show. I had gotten this a little while ago. Um, it's a company in Europe, but it's a little FM synth
Oh,
basically,
that's cool.
and it uses vintage Yamaha FM synth chips from a what was it, like a video game? I forget what.
Mm,
Like, do you remember which video game those chips were in? Foo? Is it? It's like
Mm-mm.
Nintendo or something, or I
mm.
don't remember. Anyway, it uses vintage chips, but it has a lot of controls over all the operators, which you don't normally have. It's called a Mega FM.
That's awesome. I wonder if I can use that on. I have a bunch of like kind of baseline ideas that need real percussive, punchy, synth. Maybe we can plug that in and run some of this MIDI through that.
Yeah, it definitely can do something like that. It's
Ah,
definitely more percussive sounding.
go for it, Damone.
um, not food. Amir, back to the Mega FM. I saw that it had 4 operators.
Good eyes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So can the operators serve as either carriers or modulators? Can they switch between the two?
Yeah, I mean it does a lot of weird stuff. This thing.
Okay,
It's
right.
pretty, it's not like super easy user friendly right off the bat. You do have to
Uh-huh.
have a bit of knowledge, but it grab it again.
Because some of them have pre they have like pre-patched out like algorithms and what have you.
See these
Okay, there
little
you are.
blocks?
Uh-huh.
You can choose the order.
The sequence, yeah.
When you turn this knob, it'll pick the different orders of the blocks. You can
Uh-huh.
also use these LFOs and assign it to switch between these
Oh, really?
automatically.
So you can have like a square wave bounce back and
It
forth
can be
between operators.
bouncing through some of these
Wow.
Wow.
time.
No,
Wow.
that's cool. I like
Yeah,
that. I like
yeah.
that idea.
Wow. That's a lot
This,
of
yeah,
format.
it's a pretty it kind of does a lot of stuff, but like I said, you got to really kind of play with it,
Yeah.
but you can get some pretty interesting sounds out of it.
Wow.
Wow.
The chat's saying that Sega.
Sega, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you look at the logo of the
yeah.
Mega. It looks like
Yeah,
Sega.
that's a giveaway right there.
Oh,
Looks like
wow.
Sega.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah. Well, I guess that runs deep in our blood.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, no, actually, yeah, true.
Simon goes, looks like the first pedal with built-in Tetris.
Yeah.
It totally does. It totally does. That's funny. Keith has an OG Sega Genesis. Wow. I remember that thing came out. We were doing the second Orgy album, and we were like, whoa, the graphics on this. We played that water jet ski game or whatever till it was fucking, like, burned a hole in the TV. Probably like a tube TV or the big box projection ones or something like that. We thought we were so cool. That is so funny. Right on. What else?
Trying to think what else. So yeah, I didn't touch any guitars at all. The whole either show. Obviously, the other one was all synths.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, honestly, There wasn't a lot of stuff at the big NAM really. I mean, I noticed an increase in recording gear, like the
Mm-hmm.
recording gear set pro audio.
Mm-hmm.
The pro audio section was twice as big
Mm.
because I think a lot more people are doing that at home now, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
a lot of these pro audio companies are actually probably doing pretty well
Yeah.
because all the big studios now are dwindling down as more and
Mhm.
more artists are doing most of the work at home. Even the pro guys now are doing a lot of the work at home.
Yeah.
So that increased, but as far as like a lot of synth stuff at NAM, there really was like Korg had a massive booth, but I didn't see a whole lot of other ones. Guitar pedals are still hot as fuck. There was a whole area again, like where all these boutique companies kind of band together and
Mm.
then they buy like a whole section of the floor. And that area was very busy. There were guitar players everywhere, with guitars on playing. So guitar pedals are still really selling a lot.
Mm.
I think that's what I've heard is that it's one of the biggest things these days, or at least the
Oh, wow.
last few years.
Wow.
Guitar
Yeah.
pedals are just
I think
ridiculous.
I think the guitar pedal thing, you can use it on so much different stuff. You can use it on synthesizers and stuff even. You can use it on all sorts of stuff, and there are these little bite-sized components that you can just pick and choose. And you go over to someone's studio or their little home rig, like you were just talking about, everyone's got a little mini pro audio rig, and then even studio businesses like ours and behind Foo and yours. We have a three studio kind of business and we have clients and all that kind of stuff that we work with and produce and all that kind of stuff. But it is like it's smaller, none of these are like this is a 20 by 11 room that I'm in right now, and Foo's got probably the biggest studio, and Amir's in a smaller mixer electronic kind of room. But I think that's kind of what commercial business, studio businesses, the majority of them look like that now. And we have to buy, $20,000-$30,000 easy worth of stuff. That's a lot of pro audio, and there's probably tens of thousands of us just in America. You know what I mean? That are doing real business with clients and customers and all that kind of stuff. That's the new way. And I think when you go into anyone's studio, like their unique mix of pedals and stuff gives it some of the personality.
Yeah,
It's
Jason said he's running his grandmother through the new hologram.
I saw that, Jason. How does that sound? Can you play us a little part, please? How booted up are you? Where are you? Raise your hand, buddy. Oh, there he is. I'm
Put you on
unmuting
the
you.
spot. Putting
There
him
you
on
go.
the spot.
Nah, it's
It's hard
the
to see.
grandmother
It's hard
can't
to see if
stay
you're
out.
it's hard to see if you're turning red via Zoom.
No, the grandmothers can't stay out. It's too big. It takes up too much space. So
Got it.
you got to break
Got
it down. But like I'm recording some guitars with that thing too because it's unique.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I can't wait to hear it. That sounds awesome. I saw that you were on Instagram and stuff. I saw that you were putting that together, and
Yeah,
you were,
there's some really crazy guitar pedals out these
yeah.
days. It's not just your typical, it's a phaser or a distortion pedal or whatever. It's like some of these companies have gotten really creative.
Mm.
And
I
they've,
kind of skipped that
most
section
of
when
them
I
are
was walking through it. Like,
most of them are getting smaller, but there's also the opposite trend where there's bigger pedals again
Mhm.
too, right? It's like it's pretty funny.
nah, Amir wasn't kidding though. It was busy over there. Like I skated by that
Did you
pedal
guys run
section.
into each other there?
Nah,
Oh, I
I
didn't
didn't
know
want to
you were
bother
there.
you guys.
Oh,
Oh,
jeez. You should have let us know. Could have come by here. Come by the house. I'm a full-time babysitter.
Oh, man, you got a baby. I wasn't gonna barge in on baby time.
I somehow am still getting vocals done on the new album, but oh my gosh, it's tough in between a 9-month-old maniac.
Jason, what was your take on NAM? Did I cover it pretty well, or did you have what do you got to say about it since you were there?
It's kind of overwhelming to like because I tried to fit in like a little bit at the end of Friday and then a little bit yesterday morning because it's just a long drive. So 5 hours of driving to then walk around that place. So I just kind of went over to they had like that synth MIDI section.
Mm.
I did see the Jack White weird pedal situation.
Mhm.
I went by the electro harmonics area because they
Yep.
make some cool stuff. But I also, since I just bought stuff, I was like, I can't spend money here today.
That's
So,
great.
anything else though? Anything else was like, wow, this is so cool, or
I mean, I like all the fun gimmicky stuff, but like you said, like when you have like some new prototypey stuff that's they won't let you touch and is super expensive, I was like, it's a lot to go down for like one day. I think doing the 4-day thing would probably be a little bit less stressful. It's like
Like go
Disneyland. You don't go to Disneyland to try and jam in all the rides in one day.
yeah, no, it's funny.
unless you go with me and Caitlin as your guide.
Yeah,
We
I
can
got
break
it
that
all
shit
done in
down.
one day.
Yeah, that's well, because we know where to go at
Yeah.
NAM. We get there. It's just like Disneyland. Like, we have Southern California, whatever season. You can buy like a year resident. Kind of, they're rare. They're hard to get, but we can go to Disneyland like it's just a park, like the corner park. You can just go there and go on a ride and leave, and it's fine. And when people come into Southern California and hang out and they want to go to Disneyland, we always have to go with them because we can get them like, okay, here's where you got to start. This is what you got to do. You got to get a fast pass for this ride, and then you have to get in line for this ride. Once that ride's up, you have the fast pass for that one. You get on that one, but then you got to get this one, and we end up getting people on like literally like 15 fucking rides in both like California Adventure and Disney. We can do them both in one day. It's madness, but I haven't done that in a while because it's honestly physically painful. I mean, it hurts. It hurts my feet and my back so fucking bad. I am just like, the joke, and it's not really a joke, is that I may just have to get a wheelchair or something and get pushed around because I'm fucking so. It
So
just
you get to
be,
go to the front of the line.
I know, I know. The best was when Orgy was super big and famous. Was we actually got like the full on Rockstar hookup where they didn't want us to be in line because it was a hazard. It was gnarly. We'd go there and people would be like, "Oh fuck, it's Orgy," and so we just got these passes where you just skip the line for safety, and we just went on every ride, and it was so cool. I miss those days.
Trying to figure out how many steps I did that day.
Oh, and you saw Dale's comment.
Yeah, I was trying to. I can't seem to find it though. For third, I see something here, and my average is like
Yeah, yeah.
through the
Yeah,
roof
I'd be
that
curious
day.
as to how many steps you did.
But I'm trying to figure out how many steps it is that particular day. Just giving me an average right now.
India goes, let's just keep talking about theme parks. We can do another whole session about that. Oh my gosh. And Shasha 5 says 11 hours, 4 rides. Oh my God. That's it can be like that. You've got to know what you're doing for sure. And especially if you want to get on Rise of the Resistance, which is actually a really cool ride. You've got to kind of know how to strategically get to these rides and how to check how they're doing and how to make the choices of like, okay, the fucking Guardians of the Galaxy is 55 minutes. This one's Pirates of the Caribbean is, oh my God, it's 35, and then another one is this long. You got to know which to choose because some of these they are always long. Some are long and short. Some are. I mean, it's a whole thing. I mean, you just really have to be a nerd.
Are they all like are they basically like variations of a roller coaster, or is there more
Oh
to it?
no, Rise of the Resistance is it's insanity. The car that you're in, like the little thing you're in, is an AI automated. It's a robot. So you're cruising along the ground like you would be on a track, but you're not on a track. You're on a autonomous little vehicle that's moving in a pre-designed thing, but it's looking like you're dodging lasers and all this kind of stuff. And you pull into this like one of the first scenes, Foos, you pull into this giant structure like you're on the deck of a Star Destroyer. And the entire, you know how in Star Wars you're looking out and it's space and there's ships? The entire, I mean, as big as like a stadium outside area, getting kind of chills, is this 4K screen with ships and stuff on it and stuff happening. And all the extras, like 50 stormtroopers, a bunch of them are real. They're like actually, actors. So it's pretty insane. There's even a part where, yeah, 8,000 steps for Amir. That's good. There's even a part, Fu, where Kylo Ren sticks the lightsaber through the ceiling and tries to get in. So, I mean, they really have taken like they've taken it to it's beyond like a ride. It's like a visual uh God, I don't know. It's almost like a it's like you're in a live performance visual fucking audio experience. It's crazy. They have like the holograms, you know how they're the holograms in Star Wars is like their interstellar communication. They have those like though for real. And you're like, wow, what the fuck? It's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. Yeah, there's a whole Star Wars land. Everyone's all, yeah, here he goes. Yeah, it's super, super cool. Oh, Dale has a video of the entire ride. So do I, Dale. Um, yeah, Ryan wants to play a stormtrooper in the next movie. I want to play something more than that. Yeah, religious experience. Here goes Ryan. Yeah, that's funny. Rob said we had the Rockstar treatment at Disney World once. We had a Make-A-Wish trip for our daughter and didn't have to wait a single line. Oh my God, it's crazy, right? I mean, that's just like so insane to be able to enjoy a day like that. Wow, I've got gosh, you just talk about Disneyland and there's like fucking 30 messages. Jeez.
That sounds like a different show.
Yeah,
I,
maybe
I
we should
went to
have
this thing. It was in Vancouver. That it was the International Space Station. They'd taken up these VR cameras.
Oh,
So
wow.
and some of it's outside, like on spacewalks and stuff, and some of it's inside. So basically, you put on. I think they were Oculus things, but like a
Mhm.
bunch of people. Like it kind of takes place in this warehouse that's kind of this. It's maybe not the size of the real space station, but it's pretty big, and and then you become an avatar, so you can see the other people or avatars, and if you come with other people, they're a certain color, so you recognize them. But basically, yeah, they're like these kind of people made of stars, so you can see them, so you don't bump into them. And then when you go to a certain area, like there's a kind of framework of the space station, and then you go to a certain area and there's like a little glowing ball there, and you kind of walk into it. Then you walk into this scene, that's like a kind of like a short film or whatever of that scene, right? And so a bunch of them are like the best ones are outside, as a spacewalk or something like that. You look down and there's the Earth going by, and you look up and it's like it's everywhere, every direction. It's like 360. So it's really, really like being there. It's amazing. So you get about an hour, to go around in that. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Recommend it.
Is anyone here? I mean, I'm just curious, just raise your hand. I can't see everyone. There's a lot of people in this session. Does anyone here do Oculus and VR and stuff like that? Does anyone on here do that? I got Peter. I got anyone else? I can't, like I said, I can't see absolutely everyone because there's too many people. For me, I could flip to the next page. Let's see. Next page. Let's see. So only one person. Yeah, interestingly enough, I have an Oculus. Okay, Rob. Okay, yes. Unmute. You do Oculus?
There we go. Sorry.
Hey, you do
Yeah,
VR?
we have one of those. We have the Oculus 2, not the brand new one, but the one before
Yeah.
that.
Yep. That's
Um,
what I have as well.
yeah, it's pretty. It's some of those things can be pretty intense. Like there's a roller
Oh,
coaster
it's
thing you can
intense.
do, and you can get like really dizzy with
Yep.
those things. It's
Yep.
it's crazy.
I think that's the I listened to a deep dive about that, like what it is with the visual, I guess, what do you call it, the visual physics or whatever. There's some concept that they're working on solving. I think Apple may have solved it with that new headset. They they eliminated that. It's some interaction that goes on between you and the artificial fucking depth perception, all this kind of stuff. But you get used to it. You actually get over it.
Mhm.
It's definitely, it can kind of fatigue you a little bit. But again, I think that that new Apple one, they've figured out what that is. And I know Meta said they figured it out too, but I don't know if they've implemented it in like the new headset or what. But it can kind of fatigue you. You can get kind of tired doing it. But the reason I asked was because I don't get on. Kate's in it a lot. I don't get on it as much, but we've been. She has a lot of friends and a whole group on there, and her family gets on too from all over the world. But we've been doing this this walkabout miniature golf game, and it's really, really, really fucking cool. Like even I'm kind of liking it, and you can get together with all your friends. And I thought if more and more people start doing VR, I'll put together a bit of like a game or something with you guys as part of our Patreon stuff, and we can play VR golf. What it is, like I play right here in the studio, and you choose your boundary. So I can see my studio and I just draw a line so that I know where I can walk and not walk. So I don't ever bump into my fucking computer and everything. And this dude, one of the golf courses is Labyrinth. It's the Labyrinth from fucking Labyrinth. It's so crazy and so cool. I mean, this is like golf on a level that you've never even imagined. And you can fly and everything. Like you can golf and then you can just fly in the air. And I mean, it's madness. It's like you're really doing it. And there's another one we did was, I don't know if anyone's ever been to Meow Wolf in Las Vegas. The original one is in New Mexico, and we go on tour. We've gone a couple times, and it's this insane, massive, like interactive art installation where you just go in there for like a whole day and cruise around this fucking other world. Well, they made a golf course too. And all of these things are these insane, like like I hit my little golf ball into this big open chewing mouth, and then it comes out up here down a thing a different color and huge around me, and then goes into another one and comes out like a different shape, bouncing, and then it's madness. I mean, it's the craziest shit ever. It's actually really, really fun. And I when I was in there playing, I thought, oh wow, it'd be cool to get some games together with those of us that have Oculuses and stuff like that. Oculi, be really, really fun to do as this kind of shit evolves. So let me know when people get it. Post wherever. Just let me know, because if we can get a group together, I'll throw a game. It'll be pretty rad. It's pretty fun.
What was the name of that golf game that you were talking about?
I think it's called Walkabout Golf. It's one of the #1 games. I'll find out and post it on Patreon. So maybe we can get a group together. That would be really, really fun. It's just so cool. I mean, I can't believe how radical it is. I mean, I can't even fucking believe it. It's insane. Almost good enough for me to buy the newer headset just to see if it would be any cooler, but not the Apple one, because that is madness. It's so expensive. All right. So what else? What else are we doing, guys?
I don't know. I think we covered everything.
Yeah, that was our NAMM breakdown. Let me see. We got a lot of people on YouTube as well watching. That's awesome. So yeah, so that's our NAMM breakdown. I hope that this actually works out for everyone. It's kind of cool. It's kind of fun. We can do events like this. I see you, Damone. We can do stuff like this when we don't have the week to kind of prep a show. Every time we do like a song breakdown or we're working on it fuckers, or a live acoustic performance, we have to build it, set it up, and work on it together during the week. But when we're recording and doing all this kind of stuff, it's kind of rad to be able to sit here and share with you guys, what we're up to. And I haven't even told you some of the stuff I was going to share, because I think we've done enough for right now. But let me get to Damone and then Simon.
All right. Okay, so quick question for you guys. Okay, so lots of new gear, lots of new technology from NAMM, and I mean amongst other places, right?
Mhm.
And these are exciting times because you get to integrate all of these new tools into your workflow. But one thing that I kind of grew weary of, or just I wouldn't necessarily say grew weary of, but as exciting as it was, the one thing that I did not look forward to was the learning curve, because you have to learn how to use all of this new stuff, right? And Amir Fu, we've talked about this before. You pick up a new piece of tech, and sometimes you have to cycle to chapter 8, chapter 8, paragraph 4, sentence 3, just to figure out how to click the save button, right? How does that work for you guys? I mean, when it comes down to learning curves, you guys just take a day out to just learn how everything works try to memorize as much of it as possible, or do you just dive in, start pressing buttons, real caution to the wind?
Typically just dive in and do things, and then when I hit a wall, that's when I'll break the manual out or go on YouTube.
Mm, mm.
Hmm, okay.
Mostly nowadays go on YouTube and just see what other people are doing. And I mean, there's so much information on YouTube now. I mean, you could spend a whole day, and I guess I have done that before. Like when I got the ARP 2600, I definitely went down the rabbit hole of watching all the videos, of all the different things you can do with it. And it's pretty daunting, even with a synth like that there's no way I'm going to remember all that stuff. So
Hmm,
typically it's like, I'm like, oh, I want to try something different, and I'll just find a video and something comes up that's intriguing. I'll patch it and play around with it, see if something happens.
Yeah,
Same.
pretty much same. Um, something a little different than that, though, a little more involved, that I recently been getting into is learning how to, well, setting up my studio first and then learning how to mix Atmos, which is a immersive, with speakers on the ceiling and all around you. Um, that was like you can't really, it's basically like going from stereo to 130 channels, or up to 130 channels of of objects that you can place anywhere, and like the whole setup and everything of that. Yeah, there were days where I would just sit there and go through the lessons and just watch YouTube videos and basically not even touch anything, and then I would like, okay, I'm gonna dive in, I'm gonna try this, right? And then you just get kind of stopped, and then you actually need to sleep on it sometimes. And then you come in the next day and like, okay, I think I know. Sleep integrates all the things you've learned, right? So sometimes, with learning curves, it's not just it's not just what Amir said. It's like it's some days and weeks, and then you come back like I did. I pulled out some Julien-K songs to practice on, and they will actually be coming out in Atmos as well eventually. Um, and do an Atmos mix, and I'm like, cool, that sounds great. And then a couple of weeks later, it's like, wipe it all off and do it again. And it's been like, it's been a couple of months learning curve on that,
Yeah,
and it's fun.
that's a that's a project for sure.
Good
Mhm.
question. Learning's a big deal. So yeah, that's a great question. Learning is something you have to really embrace if you're going to do this. I mean, I think you have to do it anyways, and you have to do it forever, and just like physical, just like going out and doing things, because the longer we're around, the harder all of it gets. But yeah, you definitely. I've been having to really practice learning. Learning a bunch of new stuff and everything. So it's definitely a lot of YouTube. I thank God for YouTube. Lots of YouTube, and then lots of coming in and just playing with it and getting pissed off and frustrated that I don't know how. And then, you know, um, yeah, same stuff. That's awesome. Simon,
Buttons. Right, how you doing?
buttons. Hi.
Yeah, I'm cool. That's not a nickname. Um, yeah, I mean, what you were just saying sort of reminds me of the whole progression from like vinyl to cassette, then like CD, and I don't know what, and then everyone at the end of that line is like, oh, well, actually, vinyl's still the best. So getting more and more complex isn't always the best way to go, especially if you're drowning in it.
Oh,
Um,
totally, totally.
But that's my question was the boring one that comes from my corner. Do you have any plans to visit us poor Europeans this year?
Oh my gosh. Um, we always we always
I mean,
want to, but the problem is, it's just to get over to Europe to go play. It's just like we get a whole lot of like, everyone in Florida is always mad, and everyone in Canada is always mad, and it's because it's just so hard to get a whole band over there.
okay.
In, in any financially sane way. Now, vacation is different than going over there and playing, but I mean, honestly, I'm probably not going to go over there for vacation and fun and not bring my band and play. So it's really, really hard. We don't have an agent there. We don't have anyone representing us there right now. We did, and we did a lot of work over there, and it went really bad with that person at some point. So we don't have anyone right now,
All right.
which means it's just very, very difficult for us to figure out how we would do anything over there. So we don't spend a lot of money marketing ourselves over there. We don't do a lot over there. We try to focus on the things that we can control,
Yeah.
and that's why we do a lot in America. This is the biggest market for sure for virtually anyone, even a lot of bands in Europe. So we just kind of it's a bit of a bummer because we do want to go over there and we do have fans there and we have played there a lot. So it's
Yeah.
not like we would show up and people would come see us. It would be cool, but it's just yeah, we're always looking. I mean, I'm talking to all sorts of people all the time, and whenever our friends have something going on, I say, hey guys, if we get to chatting, I say, hey, let us know if there's if you guys want us to come support you or whatever. And it's always kind of on the verge, but it's just not really happened. But I can tell you that when something does come up and it's going to happen, it happens very quickly.
Yeah.
So when it
Cool.
becomes real, the ball starts rolling. So yeah,
Thank
so
you.
no plan
Someone
right now, but we don't know.
someone just asked in the chat when I'm coming to America in the
Oh, nice.
summer. It's
Oh,
my 50th birthday this summer, and I'm coming to do a photo shoot with Jim Laval, but we haven't got a date yet.
nice. Oh, Jim's awesome. We just did a show with him in Edema. Yeah,
It's
that's
cool.
awesome. 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 Well, guys, I just wanted to ask everyone too. I just did a really good in-depth interview with a friend of mine, a vocal coach that I actually work with. His name's Alex Shellist, and I follow him on Instagram. That's how I discovered him, and I had some friends go to him as well. And he's super cool. He lives in Kyiv, so he's in Ukraine right now in a war, and it's insane. And I just did an interview with him, a really like long form, cool interview. So I've posted, that it's happened. And it's on his YouTube page. So if you guys will go check that out and comment, everything would be awesome for you guys to support it. It's actually a really cool interview, covering a lot of ground. Actually, did a lot of talking about orgy and all sorts of stuff. So all cool stuff. So check that out if you can. And he's awesome, by the way. If anyone needs, if you can get into him, he's fucking busy as hell. But he's a great vocal teacher as well. So, all right. So, guys, it's queued up right now. And Kathy said it was a good interview and awesome. And India said Cami. Yeah, maybe. I know that she's got a lot of connections over there, and we definitely love Cami. We shall see. It is such a man. It is such touring is such a weird thing. You guys would be surprised at how hard it is just to get these, small tours together with like three bands that we think are cool. It is such a weird thing. It's so difficult. Um, it's pretty crazy. We're really lucky that we've got what we've got going on. So it's been really, really good. So, all right. Thanks for spending time with us on Sunday on our open-ended coverage of NAMM. Uh, I will see you guys all next week, and exciting stuff is in the works. So, Fu and Amir, hopefully I'll talk to you today.